A couple months back, I made a decision to stop posting so much on Instagram, and it really changed my perspective on things. I want to share with you guys what 30 days of no social media actually did for me. This is not just for posting, but I really removed myself from Instagram for an extended period of time, and there was noticeable differences that I want to share with you guys, and I think this could dramatically impact your day-to-day, your productivity levels, your dopamine levels, your focus, your energy, your outlook on life. It's crazy how much social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all this stuff influences us, sometimes for the better, but a lot of the times for the worse, honestly. And so the first thing I want to share with you guys is that I used to post a lot on Instagram, right? And in my position, it's not like I was just doom scrolling day after day after day, but if that's you, this also applies to you as well. From my position, I have a big following online, so I post a lot of content, number one, to help inspire and motivate a lot of people. But also, number two, it also directly impacts my business, right? And so for those two reasons, it's very justified for me to constantly be on Instagram. I'm not somebody who doesn't have a following and I'm literally just on TikTok doom scrolling. And again, if that's you, all the more reason you need to watch this video. But it's not just for people like that. It's also for the people that are on social media for educational reasons, right? There's a lot of you guys that watch IG a lot and you learn a lot of things, and that's great. And maybe you're on YouTube and you watch a lot of my content, and that's great. But honestly, guys, like, unfortunately, due to the algorithm and all these other things, it's very, very difficult to even be on these platforms without at least partially being negatively impacted by the algorithm and by scrolling. And I'm even guilty of it too, all right? I went over 30 days without posting. I still actually have not been posting on my story. Now, for those of you that follow me, you may see that occasionally I do post on my story, and I still post every day on Instagram, but understand, that's not me posting, all right? That's not me posting. I actually removed myself from Instagram for an extended period of time for a bunch of different reasons. Number one, I was very, very fixated on this idea of always posting all the time. And again, it's this weird paradigm, because for my position, it's actually justified. I get paid from it and I'm helping a lot of people. But honestly, I could tell you after going through it a very long time, I realized how attached to it I really was. Like, you don't realize it because similar to a drug, you don't see the negative effects, especially if you're not doing like it almost reminds me of like smoking weed, or when I was microdosing K. I used to microdose ketamine, and very, very light dose. It wouldn't have a negative impact on my day-to-day. It would actually kind of just take the edge off after a long day. It would wear off very, very shortly after, and it would also give me interesting thoughts that would abstractly allow me to look at my life. Like, ketamine is actually a therapeutic drug, right? And same thing happened with weed. I would smoke a lot of weed and I would have these thoughts. It would help me sleep at night. I would notice all of these different things. So there was a lot of benefits to it, but it wasn't until I removed myself from those things that I realized just how dependent on them I really was. And I could honestly say that social media is the same way, 100%. I don't even need to convince you. Like, you deep down, you just know that it is. I just think my position was a little bit different because, again, I'm putting out a lot of value to a lot of people. But I can promise you, just after going through it for the last couple of months, I don't know how long it's been at this point, but I still have not been posting on my story. And I can't help but think that, like, man, I was really, really attached to the idea of posting. Number one, you get a lot of validation because that leads to views. You get a lot of validation because it leads to people telling you that how much it's helping them and stuff. And again, it's kind of a mind fuck, because, like, yeah, I'm doing this thing, I'm getting praised for it, I'm helping people, which is good, but at the same time, it's a slippery slope of, like, and I didn't realize it when I was in those moments, but it's like once I detach from it, I can clearly see that now that I'm not getting that praise or those things, it starts to make me question my own identity, which is not good, because you have this identity that's built around this validation. All right, so social media, there's a couple things here, because not all of you guys are influencers. Most of you guys, it's just the dopamine. You're really you're wiring your brain to constantly seek dopamine and scroll, and you're also shortening your attention span. All right, and that's gonna it's going to make deep work less enjoyable. You're not going to be able to lock in and just do a task like really like relentlessly. It's going to be very difficult for you to aggressively attack your goals. Like right now, this is the 4th video I'm making in a row, but it's not taking me that long. Like there was a period in my journey years back where it would take me so long to film one video. To film one video would take me more than just a day, because I would spend a day trying to plot it out. I would spend a day thinking about the angles and making excuses and scripting and getting in my head about it, then filming, turning the camera off, getting pissed off. Like you could, trust me, for my content creators out there, you know that if you're not in a flow, or you haven't been in rhythm, or you're off, like you could fuck around and lose a week over a piece of content, honestly. And so this isn't just for content creators either. This is for everybody. Understand that it's impacting your attention span. It's impacting your ability to focus. It's impacting your perception of how other people view you, right? That was another thing, was that like not only would I get the praise, but then I would also periodically start looking into the comment section. And again, I would justify that it's for work, right? I'm doing research on my niche and my audience and seeing what they like and what they don't like. And yes, that is all valid. And to some extent, that's even healthy. But I'm saying all this because regardless which one of these people you are, I still think the healthiest balance is for an extended period of time to remove yourself from it. Because I'm not saying that life is better fully off of social media. I'm just saying you need to remove yourself and detach from it for an extended period of time before you could at some point go back into it in moderation. All right? And I'm not even at that point right now. I've actually spent the last little bit of time, just to give you guys, I guess, a full story on it. What I've realized is that I was spending so much time on it, and it's not actually directly proportionate to the amount of income it brings into my business versus all of these other areas. And if I were to just completely remove it, it frees up so much extra time for me to put into the 1 or 2 tasks that brings a way bigger ROI in my business, right? So even though it's justified, even though it's great, even though it's helping a lot of people, honestly, to get to higher and higher levels, I needed to remove it at least for an extended period of time. And then what I'm going to be doing in the upcoming months is slowly easing back into it in an amount that is not going to negatively impact me, but also still allows me to have at least a little bit of that there, okay? And that's how I think you should look at social media too. Understand that to some extent, it is negatively impacting you right now. I do not think that you need to live the rest of your life without it. But what I do think that everybody needs to do, and not just with Instagram, with porn, with sex, with celibacy, with therapy, with social media, with eating certain foods, with any vice that you're into, drugs, alcohol, caffeine, whatever the thing is, you need to detach yourself from that thing for an extended period of time. And I know because I'm a full year sober, I did 100 days plus of celibacy 2 different times at this point, year plus of therapy. I'm 35, I've struggled with all of these things for over a decade. So I can honestly say that like you need to remove yourself for an extended period of time until you're completely detached from the thing altogether. And then you could go back into it in moderation from a healthy place. And now you see the parts of you and your identity that it's been negatively impacting. And now you can start to get a grasp on what's actually a healthy amount of these things that I could do without disrupting these other areas of my life. Because at the end of the day, if you really want to be the happiest, and by the way, guys, like I'm coming up here at the end of Ramadan. It's my first year celebrating Ramadan. My girlfriend's Muslim. I decided to fully commit to doing Ramadan this year. I have not converted to Islam, but I'm experimenting with Ramadan this year. And so we did 30 days of a dry fast the entire day. Really no social media. I'm in bed by 8 to 9 p.m. I'm up at 4 in the morning every day, and we have five prayers throughout the day while fasting, dry fasting 14 hours a day. Going through that whole process has really shown me how to reset my dopamine. Like my dopamine is almost fully reset at this point. And what I'm noticing is, dude, like I'm laughing out loud just playing with our dog for like 5-10 minutes. And I'm not saying that all like it doesn't need to be that way for the rest of your life, but I'm noticing that, man, like you can actually have an extended period of time, you can have really, really deep focus. You can have high levels of motivation and ambition naturally. You don't need a crazy amount of sleep every single night. You can get up ridiculously early and attack your day. You can be locked in on your work for hours on end. You can have fun with really small things. You can get into crazy flow states doing work that would have previously annoyed you and triggered you, because that was me too, right? All of these things, it's like my life is very, very simple right now, but my happiness isn't any lower. My happiness is actually at the same level. I was really talking to my therapist about it this morning. I was like, damn, my life is extremely simple and fulfilling and happy at this moment. I don't know if I necessarily want to live like this for the rest of my life, but for a period of time, it's a good thing, man. It is a really good thing because we get so lost on the other side of it. And so I really encourage you to go at least 30 days, maybe even more than that, without the thing that's influencing you. For some of you guys, that's weed, that's drugs, that's alcohol, that's porn, that's sex, that's social media in this case, right? Go an extended period of time without it. You could creep back into it in healthy moderation after that point. If you're struggling with one or multiple of these areas of your life and you really want to lock in on your self-development, your confidence, maybe even your dating life, your business, your brand, I'd love to help you fast track that process. If you need extra accountability and coaching and mentorship or a community of men, you can click the link down below to work with me directly. That's all for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.